these are two magazines that I acquired about 5 or 6 years ago. I used to just scourge Craigslist, and when old knitting book collections came up, I would always try to see if there was anything worthwhile. And I hit the jackpot one day when I got about maybe 15 older books mostly from the 60s, one or two from the 50s. And I've recently been sorting through things and organizing them and enjoying them mostly. And I wanted to share with you this magazine. It is the Spring and Summer 1964 Vogue Knitting. That would have been the issue that was published when I was born. I was born in April of '64. So I was getting ready to make a video just of it, and I realized something. I realized that this cover and the insides that were with it didn't match up. The insides were actually for Vogue Knitting Spring Summer 1965. So unfortunately, I really wish I had the insides to this book. I don't. But the cool thing is I actually have 2 copies of 65. So anyway, this issue features over 50 great knitted choices and 30 wonderful sweaters. It was shot mostly in Ireland, featuring Aran style knits. And let's just go through and see what kind of fun stuff it has. The beginning is always ads, just like today. This one is featuring Aurora Borealis colors from the land of the Northern Lights. And the yarn is by a company from Sjöborn of Sweden. I wonder if they are now a different company by a different name. But I just think it's funny that we're still using Aurora Borealis as a dream palette name. So it's just kind of funny that way back in the 60s, we liked it then too. I got a kick out of the list of abbreviations. I mean, that's it. Today, we probably have about 3 or 4 times the amount of abbreviations. But they're still, they basically are the same thing. They've got the PSSO, beginning, round stitches, increase, decrease, slip knit pass. Oh, double pointed needles, DP. Okay, that's one that you don't see too often. Pretty self-explanatory. Here's an ad for circular needles. So that's when it all started. What's all the excitement in knitting circles? Well, it's pretty exciting, and it's still kind of the method of choice today. Knitting machines were really popular back then. I know I bought one. I bought mine in the 80s. I wore that thing out. I just loved it. This is kind of fun too. A Melrose yarn folio is like having a knit shop in your home. So you'd clip out this little coupon, mail it away with 50 cents and include your envelope, and then you would get back, I'm thinking you would get back swatches. They make it look like you're going to get back little mini skeins, but for 50 cents, I highly doubt you're going to get a whole lot of mini skeins. But I would have loved to know what you got when you ordered that. It's just so exciting. And it guaranteed or money refunded. Satisfaction guaranteed or money refunded. So how can you go wrong with that? This is it for measurements. So these measurements are going to guide every design in the book. And it's your standard measuring points: bust, waist, hip, arm length. Really only 4 of them. But what I kind of find funny is they start at size 10, and the waist for a size 10 is 24 inches. Now, I don't really know for a fact what today's size 10 waist measurement would dictate, but I'm pretty sure it's not 24 inches. I'm pretty sure that even a size 6 would have a waist of about 26 or 27. So it's just kind of it's very interesting to see how some things have changed and some things have not. So for these 4 hats, you'd have to send a quarter to Vogue Knitting, and then you would get these patterns. I wonder why they just couldn't include them. Why those 4 couldn't be included. It's interesting. The 3-minute way to protect sweaters against shrinking or stretching, no matter how many times you wash them. That's a pretty big claim for Woolite. I mean, I love Woolite. I use it, but I never knew it made that claim. Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the designs. And like I said, this was all shot in Ireland. And it's really, I mean, beautiful designs, as you would expect. Vogue always does a bang-up job of designing and presenting. A lot of dresses and coats. This coat, it's fully lined. I was reading in the instructions. It's pretty basic. You know, the instructions are very vague, but the whole coat it's interfaced in the front panel. It's interfaced in the collar, and it's fully lined. Even the underside of the collar is lined. Here's another one with the Aran look. I wonder why that one got to be in color. I think that's an ad. Is that an ad? It's hard to tell. No, I think it's a design. Suit that almost never stops. So that would be the dress, and that would be the suit that almost never stops. More suits. And this one, now we're talking about what you're going to wear for summer. I think that's just beautiful, timeless. I thought that was crochet, but it's not. More coats. I thought this was a little bit cute. They were talking about, I'll just read you this little bit. The leading resort looks. Moving into the early summer. In January, February, or March, it's pretty nearly an American custom now. Let me start that over again. Moving into the sun early in January, February, or March is pretty nearly an American custom now. So I guess that's when it became pretty popular to take a spring vacation. Even the young have taken it up and go south in swarms to their own special sun haunts on their spring vacations from college. Whether it's Florida, the Caribbean, Palm Springs, wherever you go, there are 2 things not to go without. One is a really smashing sweater to put over pants or skirts, something more dashing and fresh in shape and color than the usual standbys. Perhaps a brilliant marigold pullover splashed with white polka dots, or a throbbing pink sweater with olive and blue flowers vined all over it. The other not to be without is a really beautiful dress that can change its look from day to evening with the flick of a jewel or scarf. It's just so cute. It's just a time gone by. There's that polka dot sweater. And there's the vine. The green and blue vine. And I love this one. So it looks like she's hiking and sightseeing in a place where there's rocks, you know, like maybe the mountains or something. And she's wearing a Chanel suit with pearls. On holiday looks. I guess it'd be comfortable. Why not? I mean, if your shoes were good, you probably could make it up a hill with that outfit on. Why not? That's gorgeous. The Maharaji tunic coat. Seacoast. Oh. Let's see, what does it say here? Sweater looks for the next 6 months, going south now, to the beaches later in the summer. To the beaches. Okay, so this is the beach look, I guess. This reminds me of Jackie O. Everybody's hair and demeanor, just kind of makes you think of Jackie O. White for summer. I love this one. There's nothing too particularly great about the knit designs here, but this bag, I don't know if you can see it. There might be a little bit of a glare because of my light. It's like a upholstered duffel with a leather toggled cover, and I would love that bag. It is so cute, and it would be so useful too. Okay, so now we're already into the directions, and honestly, they haven't changed over that much in the years, other than the way that they do the sizing. I mean, it's really vague. You really got to know your stuff, especially when it comes to putting it together. It's just, you know, block it and sew it together. Sew in the sleeves, matching seams and raglan shaping, and sewing edges of ribbing together at neck. Sew the underarm and sleeve seam, block. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, if you got that far, I guess you pretty much have to figure it out how to put it together. They used a lot of reinforcements. Face each edge with grosgrain ribbon. Turning 2 stitches at each front edge to the wrong side. Cut through for buttonholes and sew around. Sew on the button. Sew on collar to within 1 inch of each front edge. Tack collar is shown. You really have to have respect for the graphic designers of today, and how much we owe them. When you realize that back in the 60s, you literally got a hand-drawn chart in your magazine. I mean, somebody took a pen on a piece of graph paper, and they drew out the design, and that's what got printed into the magazine. It worked. It's a little hard to see because it's literally just little circles and X's. But boy, we're lucky. We're lucky today that we have